Hey everyone, I'm Dahc and this is Dahc's Delayed Game Reviews. This is where I review games severely behind the times. Because hey, why review a game today when you can review it decades later? So today, we're going to take a look at Tiny Toons Buster Bust Loose. Konami was the developer and publisher for it, and it was released in the US in February of 1993. Yes, that was 19 years ago this month. I am getting old. Anyways, the game is your basic platformer. You control Buster Bunny through a series of 6 stages. The game itself is not very long, taking most people probably 3 to 4 hours to complete. You start the game with 3 lives and 3 hearts, you get hit by an enemy, and you lose a heart. Run out of hearts, you become Rabbit Stew. Almost all the stages have power-ups where you can refill your heart and add more hearts to your bar. The only downside to this is the extended hearts do not transfer from one level to the next. I played through the game on normal difficulty and overall, it was not too hard save for the western stage, and it wasn't too easy except for that football stage. You will, however, die a lot. Although once you learn the pattern though, you can easily avoid most of the hits. I played through the first level twice, and on the second go through, I only got hit once the entire level, whereas the first go round I had to use a couple continues. The first level is at Acme Luniversity, and it is a straightforward level, designed with a bit of challenge but not too frustratingly hard while you are still learning the controls. At the end of the level you'll have to defeat Dizzy Devil, but before you quote-unquote fight him, Hampton Pig tells you to feed him. It's nice of the game to tell you the objective, however there was no real clear indicator. You can hit Dizzy, but this is not how you defeat him. You have to bump the plates of food that are above you into his mouth, and after like 8 or 9 plates he falls asleep and you win the level. The problem is, I didn't know the first time, should I hit him, or is the food the right thing? Usually games of this area you have to hit the boss 3 or 5 times and boom, you win. But there was no health bar or progress meter, so I had no idea if I was doing this correctly. It's a minor complaint, but it irked me a little bit. The second stage is the Western movie stage. Personally, I hated this level. It took me more time to beat this one level than almost the entire rest of the game combined. The first part of this level is your standard platformer, but the second part is that forced movement slowly through the stage. I can't stand this type of level design. I'd rather set my own pace, but whatever. The main problem I do have with this stage is how the speed changes dramatically, and it will lead to a slew of deaths. Part of the problem is falling off the screen versus being crushed by objects. I didn't beat this level by skill, but by blindly learning the timings. For me at least, trial and error over and over and over and over just to learn the pattern is a terrible design. Level 3 is the Spooky Mansion, and it goes back to your normal platform design. This was a really cool level, but it seemed really short. Now granted, part of that might be because I just spent forever on the western stage, but who knows. I like the enemies and the backgrounds. It had some really nice jumps and platforms, but nothing that was too terribly unforgiving. At the end of the stage you will fight a monster that's being mind controlled to the machine. You have to hit the nuts back at the machine to win. Hitting the monster is not the objective. All in all, not too much to complain about this level, but I did really enjoy it. Level 4 is a complete about-face in this platformer. You are now at the end of a football game and you have to win the scoring touchdown. Normal football rules apply, so you have 4 downs every 10 yards and you get a new set of downs. You only have 7 minutes to score a touchdown. Run out of downs or time, you lose a life. You've got 2 options to either pass or run. Running, you get the ball passed to you and you run forward and try to avoid the opposing team. Passing, once you get the hang of it, will result in a level that only lasts a few minutes. This is the easiest level in the game. This was a nice little change of pace, but ultimately this level was really easy. Level 5 is the Sky Jumping level. It was a really nice platform level, and I like the fact that if you missed a jump and you happened to land on the big balloon, Hampton would return back to you and start pushing out more bubbles so that you wouldn't have to commit suicide and start the level over. The first part of this level is just jumping, no enemies to distract you. The second part, you are on a blimp and must kill or avoid buzzards. The third part of this level is kind of like a pinball machine, and it's not too difficult but fun nonetheless. The last part of this level is another forced movement stage. This part again caused me quite a few deaths. The weird part is the timings of the forced movement can rapidly increase if you are moving at a fast pace, but if you lose that momentum, you're gonna die. Think about how awful Sonic would have been that if every time that you lost your really fast momentum, you bit the dust. The last level is the space opera level. There's a lot of Star Wars parody in this level, and it was a lot of fun. I did get a bit confused on which direction I needed to go in one part, but nothing too major. The stage has forced movement, but this part was done in such a way I didn't mind at all. In fact, the forced movement part of this level was really cool and well thought out. I like the quasi 3D effect of the laser blast coming in from the background. Near the end of this level, there is 2 vertical tunnels where you have to scale using your dash ability where you run up the wall. One is labeled hard, the other one's labeled easy. Hard is no joke. I know I'm not the best at the wall running or jumping, but it is not forgiving in the least. I tried this one quite a few times, but ultimately I gave up and went up the easy ramp. The easy ramp was pretty easy, and it gives you a middle point halfway through in case you mess up. The final boss of the game is Duck Vader, and you have to kick his UFO off from the taser gun so he bounces around and he can get hit by the taser. Again, there is no meter or indicator that you're doing this right or how many hits the boss has left. This again irked me. All in all, the boss was not too hard, but I do have to complain that I had to sit through his monologue every time I died. That was really annoying. In between every level, you do get a chance to play one of the 5 mini games. There's no real point to these other than just getting more extra lives, but none of them really stood out. There is no save feature, but you really don't need it since the game is so short. One of the really cool features of this game, or potentially cool features of this game, was the password system. There is 3 characters. Yes, 3 characters long. You select a Tiny Toon characters for each of the 3 slots, and that's the password. Short, simple, perfect. Almost. The only bad side is the difficulty is automatically set to children's level when you use a password. Come on, Konami, you are so close at making a perfect password system. Why not allow the normal or hard modes to have passwords to go to the specific level? This was such a great idea and such a disappointment all in one. All in all, this actually is a cool little game, and I do have to say I did enjoy the game, except for the western level. There isn't a whole lot of replay value unless you want to try and beat it on challenge mode, aka hard mode. You can pick up this game fairly cheap, runs about $5 on eBay. It's not available on the virtual console to my knowledge, and I had picked this one up in a lot of about 30 games, so I really only paid a couple dollars for it. Ultimately, the question is the game worth $5? Absolutely. I paid less than I would to go see the latest movie, and I got a lot more dollar to fun time ratio. If you come across this game for a reasonable price, add it to your collection. It's no Super Mario World, but it's definitely worth checking out. This has been Dahc, and thanks for watching.